meeting broadcast on YouTube. So, let's meeting to order. I don't know, does it switch to some other screen? Okay, there we go. All right, so can we start with a roll call, please?
Yes. Heather Owen is joining us via conference call.
I'm here.
Annette Eastek,
Here.
John McPherson,
Here.
Virginia Mendoza, Jaime Fernandez,
Here.
Mary Claypool,
Present.
Sandra Ocampo,
Present.
Dr. Danikas.
Present. All right, we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. And we have, I don't know, Sandra Ocampo, please lead us in the pledge.
Good morning, thank you. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I don't think there are any changes to the agenda, so can I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Can we do a roll call vote, please?
Yes. Heather Owen,
Yes.
Annette Eastek,
Yes.
John McPherson,
Aye.
Virginia Mendoza,
Aye.
Jaime Fernandez.
Aye.
Mary Claypool,
Aye.
Sandra Ocampo.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to communications. Do we have any correspondence? I don't think so.
No.
Okay. And next is oral comments from the public, and I think we have some visitors we would like to
Yes, we do.
introduce.
We have one not new team member, but she's in a new seat, and we have a brand new team member who's joining us today. And so, Dr. Vela, would you like to do the honors of introducing our new senior director, who we're very excited to have joining our MCOE team?
I would be honored, Dr. Gus. Vice President Eastek, members of the board, cabinet, it's my great pleasure to welcome Stephanie Olmsted to the MCOE family. Stephanie joins us as the new Senior Director of the Alternative Education Program. She comes to us from the Alameda County Office of Education. And prior to that, spent a little bit of time at the San Joaquin County Office of Education. So we certainly are going to be learning of her background and experience as we go through, with many years of that experience in the alternative education setting, most recently as a director of one of alternative education sites. So we are thrilled to have her. She's already hit the ground running in preparation for the 25-26 school year. And so welcome, Stephanie, and this is our board. If you'd like to say a few words.
I just want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to continue to grow as a professional and to serve the community that I've spent it's my vocation. I love working with alternative education, and I'm just really, really happy to be here. Thank you. It's nice to meet you all.
Welcome.
Welcome.
And then the second introduction we'd like to make is Denise Munoz. So Denise, I don't know if you want to stand up so everybody can get a good look at you, but you may have seen that smiling face before, because Denise was the executive assistant for our Human Resources Division and has now moved into the position of the executive assistant for our deputy superintendent, Dr. Juarez. So not new to MCOE, but new to her role. And she's here today kind of learning how our board meetings run, and we're just really excited to have her in that new role.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Welcome. Okay, moving on to anyone else from the public who would like to make a comment on an item that is not on the agenda. Seeing nobody doing that, let's move on to the consent calendar or the consent agenda. Is there anything that anyone wants to pull from the calendar, or can I hear a motion to adopt these? Okay, I have a
Second.
motion and a second. Can we do a roll call vote for the consent?
Heather Owen,
Aye.
Annette Eastek,
Aye.
John McPherson,
Aye.
Virginia Mendoza,
Aye.
Jaime Fernandez,
Aye.
Mary Claypool,
Aye.
Sandra Ocampo.
Aye.
Okay, that's unanimous on that consent calendar. Moving on to staff recognition, I don't think we have any. Unfinished business, none as well. New business action items. Approval of the representatives to the Salinas Valley Adult Ed AB 104 Consortium. Dr. Vella.
Yes, thank you. Once again, good morning. With the welcoming of Stephanie, we bring this item to you for your approval. Every year, the Salinas Valley Adult Education Consortia requires that we approve the voting members for that consortia. And we'd like to put Stephanie Olmsted, our Senior Director, as the primary representative of MCOE to that consortia, with myself and Nubia Padilla, our principal, as our alternates. And so we bring that item to you and would answer any questions you have.
Move to approve.
Second to approve.
I have a motion and a second. Can we do a roll call?
Heather Owen,
Aye.
Annette Eastek,
Aye.
John McPherson.
Aye.
Virginia Mendoza.
Aye.
Jaime Fernandez.
Aye.
Mary Claypool.
Aye.
Sandra Ocampo.
Aye.
Okay, since our inter-district appeal is scheduled for 9:15, let's move on to whatever other items we can get to. 6.3, the facilities, or will we have enough time for that?
Can we skip that one and come back
Let's
to
skip it and
and
do,
go to
okay.
8.1?
Let's do skipping on to 8.1, new business non-action. The quarterly summary for uniform complaints, April 1 through June 30. Dr. Vella.
Yes, this is the quarterly report for uniform complaint procedures, which we've received none this past quarter, this period of March 31st through June 30, or April 1st through June 30th. And there are no incidents to report.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions or comments other than good job? All right, report to the board on conference meeting and workshop attendance. Oh, no, I skipped one, payment of claims. Sorry,
I know.
Dr. Stanley. Payment of claims, page 39 in our packets.
Great, thank you so much and good morning. These are the payment of claims for the month of June, all $3.6 million. Just a couple that I wanted to point out. One was Avila Brothers on page 41. It's $553,000. So I just wanted to let you know that that was the Bard Blades remodel, and we are done. So yay on that in time for school. So very good news. The other one that I thought maybe would be interesting is Cypress Engineering. It's on page 43 for $94,900. And this is a 3-year regular inspection for our HVAC systems. And so this was to do some hard blade replacements and also the Salinas Child Development Center rooftop unit replacement. So that's what Cypress was all about this year.
Okay.
Any other questions I can answer or any?
Okay,
It wasn't about the amount. Goodwill Central Coast. I was just wondering, what is the service? It's on page 44. And I apologize, I should have.
For the 13.
Mm-hmm. I assume they provide a service of some
Is
sort.
that yours, Dr. Vella?
Yeah. Oh, Dr. Valley can answer that.
Oh.
So we work with the Goodwill Central Coast to do job placement assistance for our students, is work study for our students. So as our students are enrolled in our high school program and they wish to do a work study, our placement agency is the Goodwill. And so we work with them in order to do a work study for our all-ed students. And that is the anticipated amount, or I'm sorry, the actual amount that was distributed to our students via Goodwill through that work study program.
Oh, thank you. Good to know.
Sandra?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Dr. Stanley, on page 10 out of 34, way on top, it says Marriott Hotel Services and Monterey Marriott Hotel catering services for $50,000. That got my attention.
I'm sorry, could you tell me the page?
Page 10,
page 10.
out of 34,
I think it's 46.
way on top. $50,255 for catering services. That's what I got my
Let me see
attention.
that really quick. The Marriott was catering services. Yeah, I don't have any more information. I'll find out which program that was. It would have been a program that held a conference of some kind there that.
Oh, that
Would've
was
been-
probably Cal MSCS. That was.
The Cal Misfits?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm guessing that is.
Yeah,
'cause-
okay.
but-
I'll look that up, Sandra.
And also on page 17 out of 34. Right in the middle. UC Santa Cruz field trip for 11,000 plus. Is that one single trip or 3 days trip, or I was just wondering?
I believe that was our foster youth trip with students, if I'm not mistaken, the UC Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
We would also have to confirm, because it's either migrant education or the foster
No, I
youth
think it was the
services.
foster youth one,
Yeah.
yeah.
The reason that I'm asking you, Dr. Stanley, is because if this is related to foster students, Robert and I are mentors for the Smith Society, Amicable Foundation, where they have a lot of funds to help out. And they directly and specifically work for foster kids,
Okay.
creating partnerships for those kids in the University of Santa Cruz. And as a board member, there's plenty of money. So when I saw the $11,000 on a field trip, I goes, wait a minute, where did they went? They did not invite me.
Great.
So could you check on those two items?
Will do.
Thank you so
Yes,
much.
Thank you, thank you, Trustee.
Any other questions? Okay, moving on, since that was for information only, we still have a couple of minutes. 8.3, report to the board on conference meeting and workshop attendance. Dr. Stanley again.
Yeah, so this is the last quarter of fiscal year from April 1 to June 30th. These are all the opportunities that our staff were able to take advantage of over this quarter to further their education. We have the separate page on page 94 is the one for the board members.
Thank you. And sorry, I was talking for a second. And the extra page is on page 94. That's for all of us as board members. It shows what we signed up for and other travel. So I think this was something that you had asked about on a previous meeting,
Yeah,
John.
yeah, it
Does this
says,
meet your,
well, I thought since we regularly on a quarterly basis put as part of the public record what we're spending extra dollars on
for staff?
for staff, we should do the same thing for the board.
Okay, that makes
And
sense.
so it's perfect.
And this was part,
Annette,
yes. Heather,
I have a question about that. Sorry,
Yeah.
I have a question about that. Is there any way we can add a column that says whether that board member attended the conference and paid for or not?
So.
go
you want
ahead.
me to answer.
Yeah,
So
please.
that report comes from Colleen's office. So Heather is asking, can you add a column? We added the information, because I know the
Add a
board
column for
asked
what?
us for
I'm
that,
sorry.
of if the person attended or not.
Yeah.
So what we,
We have it listed under the
you
conference,
just have a choice.
conference workshop meeting title. We have to run that.
I'm having a hard time hearing Dr. Stanley.
Annette, do you see it on? there?
Yeah, I see it on there. On page 94, Heather, in the third column that says the meeting title, the conference workshop or meeting title, it says the name of the meeting, and if there's, if a person doesn't attend,
I see it.
it says did not attend.
Okay, thank you. I see it. Thank you, Dr. Stanley. I appreciate that.
And currently, the reason why we also, include this information for all of our staff is that that's part of one of our policies. we will add, I think the policy committee can meet and add that we include the board members or we can discuss whether we want to include them. Just because it's really the same. It's spending the public's dollars for meetings that we've attended or conferences. So we're gonna do it that same way, I think. The policy committee will meet and talk about that. Any other questions, comments on
What
it?
is the policy committee gonna do again?
Just meeting about having a report out, adding this page of board member, John had asked for it.
Confirming this page?
Not confirming it, but having it be part of the policy that we report out on our travel as well as the staff's. The staff's travel is already part of the current policy. It has to be reported by policy. It is not reported, it is not noted in the policy whether or not the board's travel would be included.
Yeah.
So we will discuss that and make a recommendation to the board itself after policy committee meets.
To continue this form,
Correct.
basically.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Make it so
point for
confusing.
clarification, what you're saying is that we're looking to this board policy to adopt something like this, that every board that it travels brings back a report.
No, oh
That's
no,
already in
we
the
already
policy.
have that that we have to report
I know that.
out. But what I'm saying is to include this page as part of the quarterly report to us of who attends and what they attended. That is not required at this point for board members, only for staff members. And so we thought it made sense after John pointed it out that since the board members are attending also on behalf of the county office, that we consider that be part of the report.
I totally agree with that. But my recommendation will be also that, because when you read work-related benefit of every travel that everyone takes, to personal growth themselves and bring back that info, I only see just kind of a brief information about, for example, okay, strength and understanding. Let me just read one. This is a random one. Jaime, County Board, 410 Conference. Sacramento. Strength and understanding of county board governance, connect with fellow board members and obtain critical updates necessary to effectively serve our county boards. That sounds beautiful. Sounds beautiful. But I would like to see an addition to this where we just don't talk so beautifully. If within the training that we're attending, there are more specific information, link information, web pages information, edit up. Edit up
Yeah, this is,
to these documents. The reason why is because we do travel a lot, we do go to different conferences, but sometimes the linking information, like web pages, like telephone numbers, networking, we don't register in these pages. So when you read, yes, you picked it up, but the benefit for me will be that extra info,
Right.
bring it on board so we can share it.
I think there's two different things that are going on. This is just to report that we've attended and just a brief outline of what we learned. When we attend though, all of us talk about what we learned at that conference. That's a separate thing. That's not done just quarterly, but immediately after the conference is attended. And we've been doing that either orally or written or both.
Part of
And
the policy, right?
it's part of the policy
think-
already. We already are supposed to do that. So I don't think we need to add that. This page of information that comes out quarterly for our staff, we're just adding the idea of doing it for the board. We all still have to do the reports as part of our going
And
to the
this is
conference.
precisely why, because it's a quarterly report, I understand quite well. That is not like on a monthly report, and we're allowed to report verbally, everything we learn through. But to me, I mean, I'd rather like, and I understand, we're talking about two different issues. I'm just trying to, kind of a request that it would be nice to bring all the linking information that we picked up in every conferences in regards to grants, programs and all that stuff. So it could be done verbally or written, either or. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, well,
Just a suggestion.
yeah, so more detail. I mean, I
But in
think
this one? or
this,
in your
no, not
other
in this
report?
one. I don't think you're asking
This
for
one's
it on
just
this
for
one.
financial reasons.
This is just for financial.
Yeah.
That's a different thing, but that's a good suggestion and, people can consider it about how much detail to include. So, but I think for this report, the policy committee will meet and talk about, including it. So, any other questions or comments? Okay, let's move back to our item that was scheduled for 9:15, which is item 6.2. It is the interdistrict transfer appeal number 252601, Salinas City Elementary School District.
And
Yes.
I do not have,
Oh, okay,
so I would appreciate maybe a 5-minute break so
okay,
I can,
yeah, review
Get
it
up to
very
speed.
quickly. Okay, so let's just take a break. It's about 9:22 now. We'll come back together at
Oh.
about
Is
9:27.
that your presentation?
And just checking.
Oh, no, I do.
Your packet was emailed, all of you who get it electronically, it was emailed with the agenda. So just checking, does everyone else have their packet? Had a chance to read through and review?
Several people. This is Michelle Archuleta. She's our director of compliance. Because almost every year that we.
it was emailed with the agenda?
Okay, so we're back on with our meeting and we're proceeding again with item 6.2, the interdistrict transfer appeal number 252601 with Salinas City Elementary School District. Introductions, Dr. Gus?
Yes, so it's my pleasure today to introduce the folks that are here at the dais. Our team members, we have Assistant Superintendent, Dr. Ernesto Vela. We have our Chief Business Official, Dr. Colleen Stanley. We have our Executive Assistant, Cindy Dunn. I think you already know me, Dr. Gus, County Superintendent. And we have our Board Vice Chair, Annette Eastek. On the line, we have, I'm going to go on the line in the back, our Board President, Heather Owen. We have Trustee John McPherson.
Good afternoon.
Thank you. Trustee Virginia H. Mendoza, Trustee Jaime Fernandez, Trustee Mary Claypool, and Trustee Sandra Ocampo.
All right.
Welcome.
I don't think we've had a request for a closed session, so we're doing
No.
this in open.
Position, yes.
And I'd like to dispense with the reading of the letter of appeal unless one or more parties requests that the letter be read, because we've all read it already. Dr. Gus, can you state the powers of the county board in interdistrict attendance appeal hearings?
I absolutely can. And before I begin reading, I'm going to just warn you, it's a little bit long, but it is a legal requirement that we state the powers of the county board. So this is a hearing by the Monterey County Board of Education on an appeal filed by or on behalf of student Kingston Enriquez of the decision of the Salinas City Elementary School District to deny an interdistrict attendance agreement for the student to attend Santa Rita Union School District for the 25-26 school year. The student's parent resides within the boundaries of the Salinas City Elementary School District. A summary of the case has been prepared by the County Office of Education and has been distributed to the County Board of Education. Section 46601 of the California Education Code authorizes the Monterey County Board of Education to make a decision on this appeal. The county board may also send the matter back to the district that denied the interdistrict attendance request if there's significant new evidence introduced during the appeal hearing. The County Board Policy 5117.1 on interdistrict attendance appeals directs the members to review the basis of the district's denial to determine whether there are unusual conditions that justify intervention by the county board. Also, granting the appeal must result in improving the educational and/or health interests of the student to such a critical degree that substantial positive results in the educational services to the student will result. And that's it.
So the way this hearing will work is that you will be, as the appellant, will state the reasons that the county board should consider overturning the denial of the interdistrict transfer. And if you have any comments, please direct your comments or questions to our board. The district may also state reasons for the county board to uphold the district's decision to deny the interdistrict transfer. I think you're well aware of that. Appellant may succinctly state any final rebuttal after they've made their case, and then the district may succinctly state any final rebuttal. We will then, as the board, ask questions and of both parties. And if you have any comments or questions, again, please direct them to us. The hearing, the hearing is in open session, and so that's it. So we'll proceed. So the first thing is that go ahead and you can come up to the microphone, introduce yourself and tell us what.
My name is Josefa Vasquez and I'm Kingston Enriquez's mom. Alba Ariano, she babysits my son and also my older son, who is attending McKinnon right now since first grade. He was approved to stay at Santa Rita School District. And so it's good, Alva has to pick up her grandkids when she picks up my boy, so it would be hard for her to pick up my child at another school when she's already picking up my oldest at McKinnon with her grandkids. And I have the approval letter from Salinas City for Zayden, which is my oldest, and from Santa Rita that they approved him to stay with the school district.
I don't think we had that in our packet, but we
No,
read the entire
they
packet.
actually sent it to me after because the person who approved it was on vacation when I wanted to get this in right away to make sure I made the board meeting.
Okay.
So I don't know if you guys want to take a look at it.
At least to get a copy, I think.
You can.
Okay. So that's from Santa Rita, the other one's from the Salinas.
Right. I think in the packet, it states that the student,
And here's the Zayden's school records.
okay,
Because he's been there. I made sure to bring that for you guys
okay,
also.
thank you. Okay, so he's in second grade, so
He's gonna be entering third.
entering third.
Correct.
Okay, he's rising into third grade.
4 years apart. 3 years apart. Three.
Okay, so, we knew that because of what was in your packet, we had your packet, we read it. So is there anything else that you want to share with us?
No, I want them to stay together in the same school district just to make it easier on not just myself, them two, and then Alva, of course, since she is their babysitter.
Can I say something?
Yes, please introduce yourself and.
Yes, thank you. I thank you, board, for listening to this case. It's small probably to you, but for us, it's a big deal. My name is Elva Oriano. I am a board member at Santa Rita School District. And so we approved Zayden years ago when he first started in kinder. And I don't think that it would be a good idea well, he's not going to get pulled, but for the two kids to be separated. I just don't think it's for the siblings to stay in the same school is really our main goal. And to make sure that they get a good education. I'm sure they would get a good education with Salinas City, but I would really like, and then plus I take care of them. I pick them up after school, bring them here. She works only 5 minutes away from where I live. I live in the Santa Rita School District, obviously, but I hope that you guys consider this for the child's sake, for the two siblings. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And I think that's it. I think the district will present their,
Okay. Thank you.
and then you'll have a chance to
Okay, thank you.
if you need to.
Good morning. Good morning, Vice President Beck, members of the Monterey County Board of Education and Superintendent Gus. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today on behalf of Salinas City Elementary School District regarding the inter-district transfer appeal submitted for Kingston and Enriquez. My name is Esteban Hernandez, and as the Executive Director of People Services, I respectfully request that the board hold the Salinas City Elementary School District's decision to deny the request for inter-district transfer based on a careful review of the application and in alignment with applicable law and policy. The district's denial was issued in accordance with Ed Code 46600D and Board Policy 5117.1. These guidelines outline very specific and limited circumstances under which an inter-district transfer may be approved. These include if the student is the child of an active duty military parent, if the student has been the victim of bullying with no viable intra-district transfer options, if the student has been expelled and is accepted by another district, or if the transfer is based on a parent's employment as permitted under Ed Code. After thoroughly reviewing the request, our office determined that none of these criteria were met. We do understand the family's desire for convenience and continuity of care. However, this request was made primarily due to the location of the child's babysitter and family transportation logistics. Salinas City has 3 schools, El Gavilan, which is about a half a mile away from home, Natividad Elementary, which is about a half a mile away from home, and Loma Vista, which is 1.2 miles, located in close proximity to the requested school in Santa Rita. Each of these schools offers high-quality programs, a caring environment, and extended day learning opportunities until 6 p.m. We also offer placement at Cameron Elementary School, which is about a mile away from home, where our staff is fully prepared to support his transition and care. We are confident that our district can meet the needs of Kingston and Enriquez, and that he will thrive in a supportive and enriching learning environment. We appreciate the family's commitment to their child's success, and we stand ready to support his transition into kindergarten this fall. Thank you for your time and your attention and your continued service to Monterey County students and families.
Does the family or the appellant have anything to add after you've heard that?
I understand that they have after-school programs that stay up until 6 o'clock. But I work at Natividad. Kingston's dad works at Natividad. He's the director of safety and engineering. I work in communications. My department is 24/7. There's times when we get traumas. I have to be held over way past 6 o'clock. So does he. He's mandatory. We are both have to stay there past 6. I don't have anybody, to stay with him. Also, I feel I should be able to choose what school my son goes to, who takes care of him after. Not saying that the after-school programs are bad or anything, but it's like asking a parent, I want my child to go to this daycare, but how are you gonna tell me, no, he can't go there? You have to choose this daycare. It's the same way I feel about any after-school program. Who cares for him after school hours?
That is appreciated. Dr. Hernandez, none. Okay, no. Are there any questions from the board for either the appellant or the district?
No question, but a comment.
Okay, comment.
Well, we've had a series of these, and it is clear that the Salinas City School District Board is making a concerted effort to address the declining enrollment issues that they are having in their district. We probably need to get you a parking space. And totally understand that. The issue that I have is that, and we are in essence treating one child the same and treating the other child in the same family differently. And that is my concern and why I would support, as I've done previously, the appeal. What the family needs to understand is that you do live in the Salinas, and you should expect that this time next year you're going to get two denials for interdistrict transfer, because they have totally understand and support their efforts to address the declining enrollment, and interdistrict transfers are becoming a very, very challenging thing for districts, any districts to approve. So, I would have liked to have seen the district be a little bit more thoughtful in the circumstances where if you're approving it, if you've historically approved it for one child, they're going to continue to approve it for one child. You need to not separate families. But I'm sure that will be addressed going forward. And that's something that is, I'd like to see the district do, but also I think the family needs to understand that, they are not required, as Doctor has said, not required to grant these things, regardless of what your wishes are. Historically, districts have done that, but that was in a different economic situation. So if the number one, the thing that you can do to guarantee your child goes to the school that you want your child to go to is to move into the territory of that area. And I think for a lot of people, that's gonna continue to be something that they need to do, because relying on the interdistrict transfers on a go-forward basis is really gonna be something that's not, you can't rely on. So those are my comments.
Okay, anyone else? Virginia?
I wanna say that from my point of view as a mother, that what I hear is that you want both of the kids to be together.
Correct.
That's the priority. The second one is that this lady here is taking care of them. And for me, it is very important, or at least I see it from listening to you, that your job is important. You want to concentrate on your job 100% and not have the worry that if my kids are being taken care of well or not. And I think it's important. I think we have to look what's the best for the children. And thank you for being a mother and fight all the way up here.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
We have to respect some of the rules we already have.
I understand.
So that's what the reason why we're
Yes.
here, to see what's the best we can do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Sandra?
Good morning and welcome on board.
Thank you.
Nice to have you here. Dr. Hernandez, the same goes for you. Yeah, when you read the material, you know, this is coming kind of in 2025, very familiar with, because there have been other petitions requested as well. And what I'm beginning to feel is the pattern that the reason why we're asking, you know, or appeal to have our kid enter another district is not necessarily the concern of education that they are providing our kids with, is the lack of daycare providers, babysitters, the lack of the necessity of having the kids in one school district. Yours, it seems to be that one is in one and the other one is appealing to God, okay? And as a parent, I put myself in your shoes. And I, like I said before, Santa Rita, great school, Salinas City District, very good schools. Either or, they're both good. But the main concern that you are here for is the petition that you're asking for the sake and welfare of the kids. Not just one, but because the other one is attending already one school. But as a grandparent, you know, I really give kudos to your mom for approaching us and share the concern and the necessities that she will be facing if she doesn't get this approved. Okay? And, you know, after you watch what's going on around the world globally, separation of the families is the best thing that I can support to be part of it. And so with that incoming, and on the other hand, I do worry about the student enrollment in every school district as well, because great programs are coming on board. Like, for example, on August, in Salinas City District, they're gonna be opening up the after-school program, you know, where kids can stay until probably what, 6 o'clock, 5:30 p.m. And also in the other school district as well. So my point of view is that I give you, both of you, kudos to not just, you know, take one challenge and say, okay, that's it. But step up and say, this is my kiddo and I want the best for him. So I'm all in that for you.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Heather?
No, all my questions were answered. Thank you.
Thanks. All right, so we are done with this. It's time for us to deliberate and decide on this. John?
I will make a motion. I hereby move that student 25-26-01 shall be allowed to attend the Santa Rita Union School District for the 25-26 school year based on the criteria of child care considerations and whether good cause otherwise exists, which is the separation of the siblings.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Heather Owen,
Aye.
Annette Eastek,
Yes.
John McPherson.
Aye.
Virginia Mendoza.
Aye.
Jaime Fernandez. Mary Claypool.
Aye.
Sandra Ocampo.
Yes.
That is it. So, we have
so much.
taken that action. All right, I think that concludes our hearing. Thank you for attending. And Dr. Hernandez,
Dr. Rand.
hopefully we won't see you much anymore.
One more.
For your
coming up
sake.
Next meeting.
Oh, one more, okay.
And you will be
And thank
receiving
you.
a letter in the mail.
Thank you. Thank you for advocating for your child.
Thank you. Thank you.
You guys have a good day.
Good, thanks.
All right.
We do have to-
Yeah, I see that. So we're gonna go back to item 6.3, the Facilities Committee recommendation to approve the West Campus Professional Development Center interior finishes. And Mary is the head of our Facilities Committee, so I think you're starting us off.
And we do have Austin. We do have Austin.
Oh, he's on, he's gonna be on the line.
In the Zoom conference waiting room, he's just waiting to be let in.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, good, because I was like,
Yeah.
well, all right.
And they can show,
We can
have
show up there. I mean,
Yes.
there's some stuff in our packet, but it was, you
can see
know,
it better.
hard to see when it's this small.
Well, I'm gonna be happy to turn it over to Austin in a few seconds.
Okay.
But we did meet back in May, and I have to say, it was quite interesting of all the colors, the textures. I mean, it was not an easy process by any means. It took 2 meetings for us to get to what you're gonna see today. So we hope you'll like what you see, and I think it's gonna turn out beautiful, but it is a process to get there. You'd be surprised how many textures you really have to go through to get to one that everybody likes. And there was quite a few staff members there, so this wasn't just board members. It was staff that participated and gave their input because they are the ones that are gonna be obviously using the facilities more than we will. But we also took into the fact that the community will be using it, and we wanted it to be like a showcase for us so that we can rent it out, obviously at times, but then also use it for our own benefit. So if Austin is ready to walk us through our colors,
Simple technical difficulty.
we.
Technical difficulty, I guess. We're gonna check.
So keep going.
They're not finding him in the Zoom, but they're looking for him in the Zoom.
Okay.
Lost in the Zoom.
And
Lock
do you
in
have
the
PowerPoint?
Zoomers.
Is he locked out?
No, I don't know. They're just trying to find him.
Do you want to do 8.5?
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
just do 8.5 while we're waiting.
All right.
Or 8.4?
Four.
The annual,
That'll take longer than mine.
oh, okay, I see. Let's do good idea, Dr. Stanley. Let's do the public disclosure of the negotiated agreement with the Teachers Association
I
for
am
this year.
so happy to speak to this, yes. And I wish Lee were here so that she could take credit because she is our chief negotiator. And we are happy to report that the teachers have settled for the 2%. And as a result of that, it's my responsibility then to do the disclosure of collective bargaining agreement. So this is the information in front of you. And after you take a look at this, then you can see on the 3rd page of that agreement, let's see what page is it in the packet, page 121. Philip and you and I have signed the paper that says that we attest that this will not negatively impact us as fiscally. And on that same page, you can see that our unrestricted reserves remain at the 4%. And with our requirement only being the 2%. So, yeah, after this, then this document goes to the state, California Department of Education, because they are our oversight group. And so I send this along. I've already sent the budget to them. And so then this is a financial impact that then they get to speak to.
Okay,
While we wait.
yeah. Oh, wait, any questions on that, by the way? No? Okay, yes, let's go ahead and do, you want to do your superintendent's report, you're saying?
Sure,
Do
and
it
then
fast.
we'll come back to you because.
Okay.
Can I report out on the questions from the warrants?
Oh, yes, can we come back to the questions that?
Oh, yes,
Sandra
you
had
already,
on
oh, you were
yours?
able to look it up. Great.
Yeah, I
Immediate.
was. And thank you for the questions. The first question was for the Marriott Hotel Services for $50,255. And that was indeed the conference for the California Computer Science Models of Practice Summit. That's why we call it CalMiscus, because it's easier than saying all those words. But yeah, so that was the conference there. And the Regents of the University of California doing business as UC Santa Cruz for the $11,631. That was actually for migrant education. So. Yep.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for looking that up for
And
us.
and just as a reminder,
Yes, I can.
there's, you know, when there's 600.
Let them know that you're ready to.
I'm not going to know the answer to the questions when you ask about every one of them. And if you want me to look smart, please ask
Submit
me.
in writing.
Please ask me
Ahead of time.
And then I can answer all your questions without any delay.
Right.
Thank you.
You look smart anyway. But it is nice to have that little bit of, you know, advance warning for you. So I appreciate your reminding us of that
Smart person doesn't always have to know the answers, but they know.
immediately.
Ooh, have to know where to get them.
the answers.
Exactly, and she knew that's why she was able to do it during our
Thank you for
break.
getting the answers right away, Dr. Collins.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
Hey,
Yeah.
Austin, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you guys hear me?
oh,
I can barely hear you.
yeah, where's the volume there?
Let me try again. Can you guys hear me now?
Oh, there we go.
I see you right there.
Better?
See you, but how do
We're
you
trying
turn
to
up
turn
Yeah, we're
up the
turning the volume
volume.
up right now.
I'll try again. How about now? Can you hear
Oh,
me?
there, perfect,
Perfect.
that's getting better.
And can you share your screen?
Yeah, we can share screen. So I also want to let you know we have Daniel De La Garza on the call here as well. Daniel is
Hello.
design leader here at PBK. And so Daniel will be sharing screen and kind of walking us through the final colors and materials that we selected.
Hello, everybody. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
All right, perfect. So I've tried to share my screen. I'm going to send a request that
Oh,
Do you have information?
No,
There's
I
someone
think
in
Nico
there.
or one of those should be able to
They're
see it
listening.
and share the screen.
okay, yeah.
Okay, can you try to?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
Daniel.
I got it.
Okay,
Perfect.
he's sharing now, starting.
Okay, let me know if you can see
Yes.
your beautiful new entry.
Yeah,
There. All right, perfect. Are we ready to start?
yes.
Okay. All right. I'm Daniel De La Garza. I'm design director with PBK. And here today, we're going to show you interior finishes for your new Office of Education. We have had a couple of meetings before we got to this point that you're going to see today. We had an initial meeting where we had a few options for finishes. We narrowed it down. We came back to a second meeting where we narrowed it down even more based on all the comments we received. And so what you see today is kind of the result of all those conversations we had with Dr. Gus and her team. So I'll start with the floor plan here. I wanted to show the floor finishes for the campus here. You can see here, we're going to have polished concrete throughout the main lobby space and all the main corridors. That's in the yellow there. And then all the office spaces and the corridors for the offices will have carpet tile. And then we've got some vinyl tile accents in the reception workroom spaces for each of the different office spaces. We've got ceramic tile in the restrooms, sealed concrete in the storage spaces, custodial, electrical kind of closets, and then walk-off carpets that you'll see at entrances to the campus. So this is kind of a tougher carpet that'll get all the mud and stuff off your shoes before you come into the campus there. So that's a general kind of outline of floor finishes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the overall palette that we came up with here with the team after a series of conversations. This is all the finishes that you'll see on the campus. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go space by space so you can see how these finishes are being used within each space. So in general, I'll show you here, we've got accent paint colors that we are using throughout the campus. So we've got a kind of slate blue, a nice soft orange, of course, field color throughout with the white there. We do have 2 carpets on the campus. One of them will be for all the office spaces here, and then the other one will be for the conference space and all the extra large meeting rooms, those kind of communal spaces. And this one has a little bit more texture pattern to it to hide any kind of dirt or spills. And both of these carpets are very durable in terms of repelling stains from different liquids there. We've got some luxury vinyl tile throughout, so you'll see that. It's a very neutral color. It's got a slight pattern to it. And then you're also going to see tile throughout for the restrooms. Again, pretty neutral here, fresh look there with an accent tile on the sink wall. This kind of a terracotta looking tile. And then you'll also see some exterior finishes that come into the lobby space. So we've got some stone that comes in, a tile that mimics the look of Corten steel, and then also some accents of wood in the conference space there. Feel free to stop me at any time. Okay, so I'm going to go through each of the different spaces. I'm going to start with educational services. These are views of the main reception area right as you come into the space. You'll see here the accents of that slate blue at the conference room there right as you come in. We do have a hard surface LVT where we have workrooms or collaboration areas for durability there in case anything gets spilled off the sink there. So you'll see that right as you come into the reception, there's a LVT, and then as you get to the office spaces, we'll transition to carpet. This carpet does have slight accents of that orange to tie it in back to the other orange that we're using around the campus. It's a soft kind of terracotta looking orange, but you can see it here in this sample there. We also have a light color quartz countertop throughout, and then a kind of medium shade of laminate wood throughout the casework there. This is a view of the workroom. We do have some acoustical panels up on the ceiling, so you'll see that there to help with the acoustics. You'll also see throughout the renderings we have exposed glue lamp structure and wood deck throughout with some ceiling clouds where we have open office space to help with the acoustics there. So where you see this kind of brownish tan color, that would be a wood finish up there with the glue lamps. All right. This is the general workroom that's centrally located within the campus. Again, we brought in the slate blue there as an accent wall. In the countertop, again, we've got the Arctic white kind of corian and then a white backsplash accent there. And then also dealing with the acoustics of the space because we do have polished concrete here for durability. We've got some felt panels on the ceiling to help with the acoustics of the space here. And this space will have also access to an outdoor space so they can spill out into that space for, having lunch from the workroom to that outdoor patio. These are the extra large conference rooms. We have 2 of them centrally located just adjacent to the lounge. Again, this is where you start to see these carpet number 2, which is a little bit darker than what you saw in the office spaces. And then we have some wall coverings throughout here in this operable wall in the center. We will have marker wall writable surface on either end. So you can, write all those kind of notes that you have during the meeting and also magnetic. So you can post stuff up on that wall. And then also dealing with the acoustics with those felt panels that you saw in the break room. Here. Another view of that. So this is kind of shows you with the 2 rooms open with that operable wall and the finishes in there. All right, and I'll go to migrant surfaces. This is where we are using both the orange and the slate blue. So you'll see we've got a kind of enclosed open office space that uses the orange accent there. And then right at the reception area, we have that light blue color accenting that space. Again, you'll see the carpet that we use throughout the offices. The laminate's the same as well as the countertop there. And then this is the Migrant Services Conference Room. We brought in the nice slate blue there. It's a very calming color. And then also the carpet in the space there. And then early learnings, this one we did use the slate blue in this space here. We've got the same carpet throughout, same laminates, keeping it consistent throughout the offices. And then you can see here the entrance there with seating for 3 right out that reception, and then the entrance to the actual office space there, which transitions back to carpet from the LVT at the reception. Early learning, this is that reception area. You'll have a kind of waiting area to the left, right as you come in, which is this area, this rendering on the left side. This is a placeholder graphic, but we thought it could be a good opportunity to bring some graphic element and color there, and then the reception space on the right side there. Restrooms, these are group restrooms, so they're shared, and you'll have individual stalls, which will have the laminate wood there. And then you can see here that accent wall we have at the sink. It's kind of a terracotta, nice, beautiful terracotta looking tile. And then pretty neutral on the walls, a little bit darker taupe color tile on the floors there. And then just a zoom in view of that. And then this is your main event space. Again, we brought in that darker carpet throughout. This will also help with the acoustics of the space, having the carpet in there. These are carpet tiles, so if you need to replace any of them, that's easily done there. And then we do have a nice accent wood ceiling here to soften that skylight, using pretty neutral colors throughout the space with some wall coverings on that back wall. And then some blue accent on the presentation wall in the back there. And then this is a view of your lobby space. Again, polished concrete here. We are looking at a stain along the perimeter. So you see that darker stain there, just to kind of help break up the space. And then on that top wall above the entrance to the conference space, we have that tile. This is a large format tile that will come in from the exterior into the interior, bringing the two the two spaces together, kind of highlighting this beautiful conference space in the center of the campus. And then we also have a little bit of stone coming in from the outside here with a featured graphic. Again, graphics a placeholder, but a nice opportunity there to do a beautiful graphic that tells the story of Monterey County. Pretty neutral in terms of the ceiling, simple lighting, linear lights there, and then bringing some display areas in this lobby space. And then another view as you enter that space, and you've got the entrance to the conference space on the right side there. And there'll also be a nice outdoor space to spill out into on the left side there. And that's all we have. I'll open it up for any questions or concerns from the group.
Sandra?
I'm sure I do have a comment. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for choosing those earth tones colors. They're very relaxing, you know, kind of bringing you in and just enjoying the environment. Second of all, the design, I loved it. The high sky ceilings, they're gonna bring a lot of sunshine in, which is good energy. And third of all, thanks to the committee for working in collaboration with the architects, and also to you, Dr. Gus. This is a great, excellent project, and it looks pretty good in paper. I can't wait to see it in reality. So let's make it happen. Thank you.
Mary?
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone that participated in the process, because as I said, it was pretty tedious. And I want to thank PBK for their patience and time that they worked with us. They never rushed us or gave us the impression that they were getting frustrated or anything. So thank you for your patience, and it does look great.
Okay, anyone else? Do we have a motion to move forward?
It's an action item.
It is, and we're approving the finishes.
Move to approve the finishes.
Second for approval.
Right, we have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Heather Owen,
I,
Annette Eastek,
Yes.
John McPherson.
Aye.
Virginia Mendoza.
Aye.
Jaime Fernandez.
Aye.
Mary Claypool.
Aye.
Sandra Ocampo.
Aye.
All right, well, that's exciting. Next step.
Step forward.
Yay.
And a huge thank you to Darren.
Yes.
Darren's been shepherding this process along for us, along with our architects. So very
Right.
thankful for his.
Thank you, and I just wanted to thank Dr. Vela too. He was part of this process too, where we kept going to colors back and forth. And he helped pick out a lot of these wonderful colors, so I'm very appreciative for him
Thank you.
taking the time to do that too. Thank you.
Bravo, Dr. Vela.
That's great. Wonderful. Well, thank you, Austin, for joining us and PBK, you know, it was amazing. There was a lot of stuff which we had to go through, which was great. Daniel too. So thank you so much and we'll move forward. We're looking forward to the next steps.
Yeah, thank you all for inviting us today. We're always excited to give updates on the project. Please let us know whenever you want us back. Happy to continue to keep you informed as we move along. So just thank you all.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care.
Okay, we're on 8.4, the annual charter school oversight board report with Michelle.
Good morning, members of the board, Dr. Gus, colleagues, community members out in YouTube land. So I know that we have a couple of new board members that I want to just highlight this report and the reason that this report comes to you annually. Part of my work with the County Board of Education is to ensure the oversight compliance aspect of the 5 charter schools that you have authorized, which are Monterey Bay, Bayview Academy, Monterey County Home Charter School, Oasis Charter, and Open Door Charter. 3 which are independent, meaning they have their own independent board, and 2 which are dependent, which you are the governing board and policy decision makers. So I'm not going to go through the entire report, but on page 99, I just want to bring your attention to the fact that when we're looking at oversight of these charter schools, we look at their educational program, we look at their special education program and compliance, we look at the business and finance landscape, the governance of the charter school boards, and we also look at their facilities. Let me just say that the special education component for the independent charters is not required, but Dr. Gus and the board many years ago decided that they wanted an extra layer of oversight to ensure that students were receiving the services that they needed to receive. And so you will see that those reports as I go through this board report. And please feel free to stop me at any point, and then I will open it up to questions at the end of my report also. So the first on page 101 of your packet, we've got Bayview Academy. I'm going to just walk you through kind of the format of all of the schools so that you will see that we list the charter school term. You'll see that they are up for renewal this year. So Bayview will be coming through the renewal process with you this year, much as Monterey Bay did and Home Charter did. Then you'll look and see that we've just got who their director is, the name of their director, we have their address, we have the grades that they serve, and then as legally required, your designee, which is me, I have to go at least once a year to do an oversight visit. The oversight visit is comprised of me walking into the classrooms, talking to staff, sometimes speaking to students, and speaking to the director of the school. So I get an overall view as to whether they are following their program as it's stated in their charter school. And we also go into some very detailed information during that visit also. You'll see that there are some schools I visit multiple times throughout the year. We treat all of our schools to support them in their success, and some need a little more support from us than others. And so you might see that in the number of times that I visited those schools. You'll also see that one of the other requirements that Dr. Gus and the board have requested is a facility inspection review. We want to ensure that while they're not necessarily designated Williams schools, we want to ensure that students are in facilities that are in good repair and that they have an environment where learning is optimized. And then you will also see the date of special education review. That review, I attend that review with Alicia Granberg, which is our senior director for special education here. She has a very comprehensive I would say rubric or set of questions for compliance to ensure that each of the schools is meeting their compliance needs. Okay, so all of the schools have this information that I've shared with you. What I'd like to just share overall, just some salient points, is that Monterey Bay Charter, home charter, have been renewed for 5-year term from the board this past year. So you'll see that their new term is listed on this report. And this year we'll have Bayview coming forward, and also Open Door Charter. Open Door Charter is going to be fun because it's a different approach to the renewal process. They're not based on tiers of performance, but rather they're a DOS school, which is looking at a different criteria. We will I'll guide you through that whole process. It will be a very interesting process because we look at what their promise was in terms of number of students that they graduate versus how students do academically. So I will bring all of that to you this year through that process. I would like to note that all of the charter schools are in compliance for special education except Oasis Charter School. So I'd like to take you, if I may, to page 111 of your board packet, because I think it's important to note that this report, oversight report, is a memorialized report that will show the level of compliance in all areas for a charter school. And if you look at page 111, you will see that the charter school executive director, she abruptly resigned in December. And so we needed to mention that because it's important for us to see that there were some challenges in leadership. So they brought in Lauren Ricker, who has come various times to the board to give you updates. And so she began her term in January, and she is presently at Oasis. You'll see that I visited many times, and probably even more than I've noted there informally. You'll look at the date of our special education review, and I think it's important for you to note that Dr. Gus and the board was very aware of the fact that we did send a letter of concern regarding their educational program, the changes in leadership, their academic status. And so in bold, under the educational program block, that first block on page 111, you'll see, and I'm not going to read it to you, but I noted information that Dr. Gus sent in that letter of concern, because again, it's important for us to memorialize this pattern, what occurred this year, and if we need to take any further action, then we know that the process has begun. I also want to note on page 112 of your packet that they were out of compliance in many areas of the special education program. You'll see that We reviewed 36 of the IEPs, and 15 of those IEPs were overdue at the time of our review. And so that's a pretty significant out of compliance item. They shared with us many reasons for this. Part of it was the change or transition in leadership. They lost some staff in special education program. They had to bring in new staff. Regardless of what the reasons were, the fact that they are out of compliance is concerning, both as an oversight agency to parents, to families whose legal rights are stated in the IEPs, and so they need to be addressed. So you'll see that in bold also. You will also note on page 113 that the governance issues and challenges have also been noted, as was noted in Dr. Gus's letter of concern. They have not had a full governance board during this year. And even those that have been in that position have not been attending meetings on a regular basis to be able to make the leadership decisions that we believe are critical to the operation of the school. So again, in highlighting all of the schools, I think for me, it was very important for you to see, which you've been aware of it all year. You've been requesting updates, and so you know this, but it is memorialized in this report that Oasis is having challenges. And I will go ahead and open it up to questions because the other charter schools are all in compliance in all areas.
Any questions?
So it is now, it's the beginning of the new school year. And I am under the assumption that Oasis plans to operate this school year. So, and we've been told that they've been very upfront to the families. Number one question I have is, are they gonna run out of money between now and the end of the school year?
Depends upon enrollment.
When will we know that?
Well, supposedly right now they do have a waiting list. And so we are hopeful, but we don't know that yet. I think school starts on the 6th.
Yes, and Lauren Ricker, last correspondence, which was just maybe 3 weeks ago to me, was that they filled their kindergarten, which was of concern to them. And they do have a waiting list, and we can bring Lauren in to give you an update at the next board meeting, obviously. But she and her constituents are moving forward for this year.
Last question I have is, when do they need to submit either their petition renewal, or if they don't wish to renew the current petition but want to try a new petition? When did those need to be submitted?
Not this fiscal year, the following fiscal year. So this year, they're still within their term, but the 26-27 will be the renewal year.
Okay, so this board member, sometime not long after the Christmas decorations come down, they need to make it very clear what their intentions are. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
When you highlight, I had read it, but when you highlighted their non-compliance with several of their IEPs, you reviewed 36 of them. Is that all of their IEPs?
No, those are
So
random.
those were just random. And it was, close to 50% were not in compliance. So, wow. So,
A major concern.
yeah, that's a very major concern. It's,
We will continue to monitor. Dr. Gus and I and Dr. Porras are in communication on a regular basis. Definitely me with Lauren Ricker. And so we will be monitoring all of this, including the financial landscape regarding their enrollment and
And can I just add that I know Mrs. Ricker is working very hard to get the special education situation in compliance. She and her team has also worked very hard to try to meet the enrollment numbers that they would need to have to remain fiscally solvent. And so while this report seems very negative, because it is the reality of the situation they're in, she's not here, but I do want to take a moment just to acknowledge how appreciative we are that Mrs. Ricker is working to correct all of these issues and that she is being very honest with us and this board, because people or schools will experience challenges, but when they acknowledge their challenges, are honest about them, and also willing to do what they need to do at the end of the day. And in our meeting, Trustee McPherson was there with us when we, met with the board president and the director at the time. We let them know that if they cannot meet the criteria that they need to meet, that it's incumbent upon them to close themselves so that that does not fall upon this board. And they did let us know that if and when that situation presents itself, that they will be responsible and do the right thing. But they are doing everything they can still to keep their school open. And we will see in August if the kids actually do show up. When the test scores come in around October, November, then we will see if they did make academic progress, because I go back to what Trustee McPherson said at the meeting when they presented, they will need to be in the middle or high band. If they are in that low achieving band, then this board will have to make some very difficult decisions. So anyway, I do want to acknowledge their effort and their work. It is not like they're just ignoring us or that they're not being honest with us, because they are, and we appreciate that.
yes, well said. I also just want to acknowledge again, which is in the report, that Lauren Ricker took over in January. And so what she inherited was many years of maybe some lack of systems in place. And so she really is working hard to do what she can. Yes.
Well, I just
Annette, I have a question.
Heather, Mary had her hand up, so we'll take Mary and then we'll come
Okay.
back to you.
I
Thank
feel
you.
like we're limping toward an uncertain destination, which nobody can determine at this point. So my question was, are they fully staffed for the next year? Yes. And they have a full board currently, even though they may not show up?
No.
They don't have the full board. How many positions are?
We have 5 positions that should be filled, and they were still looking for 2.
Okay. And I mean, I admire Lauren for taking this huge task on, but is she going to
Remain.
remain on a permanent basis for the long term?
So according to her, she's in it for the long haul. So yes.
And the students that are, I guess, have signed up and may come on, have they communicated to the parents some of the concerns that the school has?
Absolutely.
So that they don't get into the middle of it and then say, well, if I'd known this.
Yes, and in
That's not
fact, Ms. Ricker was very transparent with the incoming kinders and first grade parents in saying, look, the school could be closed in a year, whether it's voluntarily or not. And so you need to know if you want your child to already be invested in a program that might not be around in a year or two. And so they did sign up. And so, but as Dr. Gus said, we'll see now in August when they begin classes, if in fact there's seats filled. Mhm.
Yeah, I just didn't want them to be surprised. That,
You're
okay,
right.
now
They,
what do I
no,
do?
they were told, and in fact, after each meeting that she had with the board, she went back and had like a town hall meeting with parents. And she let them know what the concerns are of the authorizer and also her concerns.
Thanks.
Sure.
Sandra.
Wait, yeah,
Oh, for Heather, I forgot. Heather. Heather.
Yeah, so meeting in the school year with, the director and the board president. Dr. Stanton gave them what she called the magic number for enrollment. I didn't hear her answer to John's question. It's like, did they meet that magic number for intended enrollment? Are they still a number?
They are not there as of,
Can you use your microphone?
they are not there as of the last time I talked to Lauren, but like we said, there is a waiting list. These are not students that are enrolled at this point, but they believe that they will meet that magic number by the time school starts on August 6th.
Could you hear that, Heather? Heather?
Heather, are you still there?
She needs to.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's your connection, but we can't hear you now, Heather. Well, we will come back to Heather. Sandra, go ahead. You had a question.
Oh, thank you. Yes. According to the information that you provide us with in this report, I've been here for 3 years. And I remember Trustee McPherson coming after you, saying, you know, there's no increasement, the grades are failing, the staff are leaving. I have huge concerns about the education of kids. Many times, we need something new. It's not happening. I understand that within the 4 years, there were 6 directors passing through. So the lack of board members, you said a while ago that the parent received notification that this school is not providing the great education they're expecting to see with their kids.
They know the concerns that the board has regarding the school in terms of financial status and potential closure.
And academic.
And
results,
academic,
That's all public.
Yeah, and also what it worries me about is the IEPs being overdue. I mean, that is a very critical point for our kids. And especially, we're dealing with parents that are probably not bilingual at all, and they don't comprehend, or they don't know where or how to follow through. And if we rely on the staff that are lacking behind, they're getting paid regardless. You know, and education is very important. So I know they had problems before in their performance. But what worries me about the most is that the parents need to become aware 100% of the performance of the OIC charter school, so they can really make up their mind and send their kids someplace else. If I'm a parent there and I receive the letter stating, you know, that they're failing in the educating our kids, I would not register my kid in that charter school. I'm sorry. And I feel like they can hold us accountable for their lack of performance because we overseen them as a board of MCOE. So I question myself, until when we're gonna take action? Meanwhile, we keep requesting information. We keep hoping to see a better yet profile. And it's not happening. So my question to the board is, how long you will wait? Let's see. That is my concern. Thank you.
Heather, are you there? She must have a bad connection or something.
We happen to know.
Yeah. So I don't know what to do about her comments. I think she mainly wanted her question answered. And the problem is until they actually show up to school, we won't know because a lot of it is based on their kindergarten being fully enrolled. So
we can bring them in August for our August board meeting to give the status of the year. To trustee Ocampo's comment, yes, the information is here and it is the board is the only, the county board is the only one that has the authorization to start a revocation process, which is very, it's not a good thing for anyone. And as was given to them, a voluntary closure, which would be in the best interest if in fact they're not meeting their legal obligations, academic obligations and services to students. But that one is a voluntary on their part, and then the decision would have to be the board's if you wanted to seek revocation, so.
Madam Chair, like I mentioned before, before they were under the umbrella of the Alisal Junior and Elementary District for years, and they were struggling since then. And this is why the Board of Trustees decided to put a closure and say, we don't want to hold accountable ourselves because you're not producing the right education for those kids. And they shutting them down. Okay, now they appealed, well, they decided not to provide their services.
No,
It was a
that's,
change in.
that's not, sorry. What actually happened in Alisal, they were the authorizer. And actually, the last time they came up to be reauthorized by Alisal did reauthorize them. The reason that this school had to come to the county office of ed was because they do not physically exist in the Alisal's school boundary area. And the law changed that said, if you don't exist in the boundary area of your oversight authority, you cannot do that anymore. So they then went to Salinas City because that is the district whose boundary area they are in. And Salinas City denied authorization, which is why they then came to the county
On appeal.
office on appeal. And Salinas City, well, I can only speak to the years I've been at the county office. They have had 2 charters who have tried to be authorized by them. That was Navigator and Oasis, and both were denied by that district for various reasons. And both then came to us. Navigator was denied by this board on appeal, and Oasis was approved by this board on appeal. And the reason it was approved by this board on appeal was because one of the things that you have to look at is if these students had to go back to the school of boundary, are those schools where the children would have to go back, are they performing better than the charter school if it were to close? And at that time, the test scores of the schools that those kids would have to go back to were lower than the test scores of Oasis. That is why it got authorized by this board, because you could not say that the kids would be better off if they went back to their school boundary. So those things change on an annual basis every time test scores come out. The things that we're seeing here with the special education situation, these are all things that can be corrected. What we will have to continue to do, and we are doing, thank you very much, Michelle, is holding that school accountable to get in compliance. As Michelle mentioned, we really don't have to check that item, but we do, because special education services is critically important. And we want to make sure that any charter school that is authorized by this county board is following the law to the T. So we're gonna stay on them when they come back in August. I think that should be the first question is, where are you at with all of these IEPs? Are you now in compliance? And the financial update, of course, will be tied to enrollment, and the question about governance. Do you have those 2 seats filled?
Yeah, I guess the point that I tried to get across is that they've been struggling since then with the Alisal Union District. And then the law changed, and whatever Dr. is saying, I was not aware of that info. But we, as the county board members, my question to us is, how many more years are we gonna give them, knowing the fact that they're not coming into any performance to help our kids. And the investment of money they were paying taxpayers, not us, taxpayers, is they're getting paid for whatever they're doing with our kids, but they're not educating our children. So I feel like we're not being transparent as a member of the board, notifying their parents, their rights, so they can really get to know the bottom of this and make a better decision about where to register their children. I mean, I know that I support charter schools because, you know, I want my kid to learn a much better education, so I want to put in charter school. And that's the wrong idea sometimes that is not happening with Oasis. And so, you know, I've said it again. 3 years so far that I've been here, and it's been happening before, so our goal will be, Dr. Gas, when, how?
Yeah, good question. And I would suggest when those test scores come out, whether it's October or November, is the time to look and say, should this school continue? Are they showing growth academically? And all of these other concerns, are they in compliance by that time, October, November? If, of course, financially, they're not stable, then again, that decision might need to come sooner. But right now, because I do think they did get, I'm pretty sure they got another donation, a lofty donation
From Bruce Taylor.
from Bruce Taylor. So right now, they are financially stable, but they need to be able to have the ADA to maintain it themselves and not necessarily rely on a generous donor to always save them. So my suggestion would be by October or November, depending on when the test scores come out, that we again look at the big picture at that time. If this board would like to direct staff to begin the revocation process, you can do that, or you can let them finish out the year. And we can issue a very strong letter saying that they're not going, when they come before you the following year to be
They're not gonna
renewed,
be
that they're not going to be renewed, so that they can plan appropriately for those children.
I said, yeah. Thank you.
Virginia, I think, was next.
Well, first of all, I'm really concerned that we didn't know until you went to do this visit what was going on with their overdues paperwork or compliance. So I'm assuming the parents don't know this either.
So the parents know because the parents actually have to sign off on a waiver to extend the legal timeline that their children would have an IP. So these parents are aware of it, and there was communication with them because legally, federally, they have to know. So if my child has an IEP and we don't meet on that annual IEP schedule, I have to be notified and I have to sign off as a parent saying, I recognize that for whatever reason, you didn't get my assessments done for my student. So the parents are aware of this, and it was noted in our review that all of the parents either signed an extension or didn't. And, but they're all aware of it, only because that's such a legally compliant, they have to sign off on it.
Okay, my understanding of that is that I signed a document that I'm aware that this might happen. But actually knowing, receiving a letter saying this is not happening, that's completely different thing. That's one thing. The other one is the, if the finances is not a problem, say, so what is the main problem that they are facing? The lack of board members, how they are looking for board members. And are they going to, out of their comfort zone to look for board members? And why is so many? I mean, it's a big number, 36 is a big number to look at. It's not one, it's not two, it's too many. And listening to Sandra about the history of this school is really concerning for me that things are not going the right way. Is there who is the leader in this charter school?
Well, the county board, you're the final determinant.
You're the final, but who is the leader there in the charter school?
Oh, Lauren Ricker, she took over in January when Annie Millar left in December. So Oasis Charter, as you've seen, has transitioned through several directors in the years that they've been with us. And so that lack of leadership and continuity has led to some of these issues. And in terms of the special ed staff, one of their special ed teachers left. And so that was where they had to try to contract with outside agents to be able to meet these deadlines, and they weren't able to do it. Now, I'm not making excuses for them. I'm just trying to tell you what the landscape was as they've shared it with us.
Well, if I'm gonna get married and I don't show up, I can come with excuse or with a good reason, but the bottom line is that I don't show up to my wedding. So at the end, I think that we have to look at the end result. One, we are not helping the students because of this. And two, we are responsible as board members. So those are two things that are very important for us to look at. And if they're gonna come next month, they better come with a whole picture and whole answers for us. And I understand that we wanna wait for results of the test score, but this is something we have to face right now.
And I think that it is appropriate for the board to ask, what communication have you given to parents? Or request that they show communication to parents. What's your financial landscape? The academic part might not have come in yet, but what's your governance structure? Are you fully staffed? Do you have special education staff? What are the services that are being provided? Those are all within your purview because you have the right to know what's happening and monitoring all of this. So I'm a liaison to you because I need to be out there as often as possible in getting this information. Again, I speak to Dr. Gus and Dr. Porras, who's my direct supervisor, but this is my formal information to you. But whatever you choose to do in terms of taking any future action with this charter school is absolutely at the pleasure of the board.
And can I just add, and timing is critical. So they already have issued contracts to their staff. They would have had to lay off staff members by March 15th if they were not going to continue to employ them. So they are obligated to employ their staff for a year. And the kids have already registered. And so trying to do any kind of revocation right at this time or even mid-year would be very challenging. I would suggest that you let the school year finish. If you want to revoke the charter, that process could begin in mid-year and then let the kids finish out. And then that would give the school the opportunity to provide the appropriate notification to their staff.
Well, the first thing, because I agree with everything you just said, I would have preferred if they had pulled the plug before next year. It's mid-July. The people, the families who plan to attend the school, that would be unfair to them. But they can't run out of money next year. If they're gonna run out of money, then it is a DEFCON 6 where we're gonna have to take immediate action. But that's why I use around the time the Christmas decorations come down, mid-year, where I think it's important for us, for all the reasons that you guys have said. Basically make it black and white. This is either, maybe they pull it out, maybe things change, who knows? I don't think so because I've never seen it happen. But, we'll know by the middle of the year what the test scores are, what the financial situation is, all those things. And I think it's really incumbent upon us to make sure that we don't leave any ambiguity so that those families do know for the next school year, for the fall of 26, where they're gonna be. But if they're gonna run out of money, we're gonna have to do something different because we can't have another millennium taking money from the rest of the other schools because of their inability to balance it, to have revenue meet expenses.
Mary, I just have one question on communication. So the legal requirement for this board is we are not required to communicate with the parents, the current status of the school prior to their enrollment. It's the requirement of their board Or is it even a requirement of their
Well,
board?
it's a requirement of their board. They're the ones that are responsible for the operations of that school. However, you as the authorizer can direct the leader and the board to send communication, to report to you their status in as often as you feel. So we don't get in the weeds because we're not their board and we don't, we're not responsible for operationalizing their program. However, the monitoring is your responsibility. And so if you ask Ms. Ricker, I want to know X, Y, and Z, and show me the correspondence you have sent to parents so that they know the academic status, the governance and leadership challenges, and the financial status, then those are definitely the boards, within the board's purview, the county board's purview.
And I can add to that, at that last meeting, she notified all of you, that's all over YouTube. So she notified you that they had that town hall meeting with all of the parents, and they have notified the parents. And it obviously was out on YouTube for the whole world to see. We did get some questions from media because that information's even getting to KSBW 8. And so we do know that the parents were informed, but we will continue to ask for copies of notification. The dashboard data, that's all public data as well. So yes, that's the key, and that's the key difference, I think, between this school and what we experienced with Millennium. Things were a little bit different back then, and I do not think their situation was made known to the parents early enough in their situation. So it was quite a shock, I think, to many of the parents.
I guess my question was, if I walk into the school and say I want to enroll my child, do I get this information right then and there? Because I may not have gone to a town hall meeting,
Right.
or I may not have seen it on YouTube. But I think it's only fair that whoever I'm talking to should at least tell me and give me that information. So that was my question.
Okay.
Or on the other side of that, if I was the school, I might not want to share all of that information because then
Yeah. I'm going to be honest with you, when Dr. Gus and I
always honest
met
with
with
you,
her,
just to
she
know.
said, I did all of our kindergarten orientation and parents that were new to the school, potential new students. She said, and I let them know, you may not want, I shouldn't be telling you this is Ms. Ricker, but this school has some issues and I want you to know. So she was very transparent with them. So any parent that enrolled their child heard from her on the tour of the school and the services that they provide, what the challenges were.
Okay.
Because I believe that Ms. Ricker wanted to know whether they needed to really close the school down or not. And they still got the parents of returning students as well as new students with that knowledge.
Eyes open.
Michelle, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Do you think that a parent will react more to a verbal statement or a written statement? I'm the director, and I'm hearing from Mary communication, transparency from the rest of the board. So if I go to a town hall meeting and the director says, well, you know, we're having some issues, we're having issues. Yeah, we're listening. But some parents just say, okay, they'll take care of them. No, but if I want it in writing, then I can read it in writing and make the right decision. And I'm not gonna hold you accountable. I will hold myself as a parent accountable because I was aware of that and I still register my kid in that charter school. So I do feel the necessity of approaching that board and make it clear. You know, you're having our support, but don't act around. We're watching you.
We can request that the board president be present also. I think that would be a good partnership so that the board, their independent board, is hearing the same messaging and concerns.
And maybe ask for copies, if they have any, of the notifications to current parents and to each of the new parents, because as Sandra started off saying, and others have, you know, seconded, it is hard to believe that a parent that's brand new to the school would choose to go into a possible, you know, failing situation. I mean, and know that. And you know, if your kid was already there for many years and, you know, it's a sibling, you know, we just had a sibling thing, maybe, but for a new parent, what is so great about this situation where there's a number of different failings that are going on that is causing them to want to go there? It does seem counterintuitive from any of us, you know? So I think having all of those things is important. Yeah, they might tell them, you know, you might fail, but then they also might be saying, oh, but these are all the great things that are happening at Oasis. I mean, it doesn't make sense to any of us, I think, is what you're hearing. So maybe when they come, if they could explain to us a little bit of that, that just doesn't make sense. So.
Yeah, you know, and this is my biggest concern, and I expressed it in the meeting, is, you know, your school, there's a building, there's just gonna be a natural assumption by the parents that you're gonna stay there. Yes, you can tell them about the problems, but it's just human nature to say, oh, I'm sure it'll get worked out, and I like this school. So, you know, you know, you know, are they, you know, listen.
Yeah.
It just, you know, and I share the concerns that it's gonna be what, huh? No one told me that. Well, you told us that, but you didn't really tell us that. You didn't really, you know, make it clear that it was as bad as it is. And if you're basically saying, yeah, the situation is bad, to the point already made, yeah, the situation, you know, there's problems, but we're doing all these wonderful things to fix the problems. Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to make the assumption that they are going to get fixed and that this is the school where my kid's going to be at. So yeah, I share all the concerns that people have.
I think, and I just thought of this, that the board may want to request that the letter of notice that had gone out by Dr. Gus, it is public domain, be sent to the parents. If there's a subsequent letter that goes out after the academic scores come in and they're not where we would like them to be, then any kind of correspondence from the county board's oversight could be required or asked or directed to be sent to parents. Then there would be no question about the concerns from the authorizer. And that's just an idea. Okay. Any other questions?
I have one more request if possible. It's not just to bring the president of the board, but bring the whole board to the next meeting. So everybody's on the same page of what's going on, because be a board member and go to one meeting and yeah, I hear this, but then tomorrow I forgot about it. Then maybe it would be better for them to be present.
We can do that. Okay. Thank you for your time today. Okay, thank you.
All right, so moving on with our agenda, we're at the superintendent's report, I believe.
Yes, so I'm gonna pass down a copy of all of the events that were the major events this year. I'm sure you all know this is not all the meetings or everything I do. These are just some of the major events. I did want to bring to the board's attention that we did hear on the media, we have not yet received any notification from the Office of Head Start that there is a change that the Office of Health and Human Services has put out, and they announced it publicly that this change is going to take effect immediately. And that is that participation in the Head Start program by students who are not do not have legal status would now be considered a public benefit and would not be allowed. And so what we are waiting on is some guidance from the Office of Head Start as to how they expect this to be implemented. We do not yet know if they're talking about the students themselves or if they're talking about the parents. And So this question is very important because we do know that the vast majority of our students who participate do have legal status, and we know that because we collect birth certificates, not to check that, but to check age eligibility requirements. But when you look at the birth certificate, you know that they were born in the US. And so again, if this is for the students, we're pretty confident that it won't have a major impact on our program. If it is for the families, we have no idea legal status, because we don't ask. And I would be concerned that even using the birth certificate for anything other than what we currently use it for, which is just to determine the age eligibility, that may be a violation of law, because we all know we educate all children. We do not check legal status. We do not discriminate in any way. All children are welcome in our schools. And so how this is going to be implemented is a huge question for us and every other Head Start program across the state. It is also going to be, I think, very challenging because we blend and braid funds. And so if we're blending our state preschool funding and our Head Start funding, and that is not a requirement for state preschool programs, what that would look like and how we would implement that definitely is a question in our mind. And so we did attend a webinar yesterday where they explained this whole change in public, that why they're now considering it a public benefit. And there is an open comment period. So anyone who does not agree with this change has the opportunity, or if you agree with the change, you have the opportunity to make public comment. Even with that said, the change is going into effect immediately. So just wanted to bring that to your attention. We are concerned about last minute changes right before school starts and what this is going to mean to us, but we will keep you informed. The other thing that I wanted to bring to your attention is, so all of those funds that were impounded, we've been talking about this for a while now, migrant program funding, Title III, Title II, there's a whole list. I won't name them unless you want me to name them. I do have the list, I believe. Yes, actually, I will name them. Title I, Part C for migrant education, Title II, Part A for professional development, Title III-A for English learner services, Title IV-A for academic enrichment, and Title IV-B for before and after school programs. That money has been impounded. That's about $6.8 billion that has been withheld from education. The state has now joined 23 other states, so a total of 24 states, to sue Trump over withholding those education funds. So we will be tracking that. If in fact the states are successful in this suit, then those funds would be released. I did want to bring to the board's attention that because we do not know whether this money will ever come or not, and for us, our migrant program is over $500,000 a month, we cannot continue to pay that if we do not have the revenue coming in. And so we have issued 30 layoff notices, and we are reassigning staff to open positions because we are, trying to read the tea leaves and figure this out. If in fact the money does come through, then we will revoke those layoff notices, and the people that we moved into open positions because they cannot be laid off, we'll give them the opportunity to stay in the position they were moved to or go back to their migrant education position. But just a lot of chaos right now. This issue is getting a lot of media attention. I'm going to pass down to you an article that came out in the New York Times where we are quoted. That was kind of interesting. Never been interviewed by the New York Times before, but they did call while I was in Minnesota and asked for some information, so we sent them our advocacy letters. I left them a voicemail, and then upon return, they did call and wanted to speak with us. So Dr. Bella, Constantino Silva, our migrant director, and I all did take the interview. And so you can see we're kind of quoted at the end there. We have also, of course, reached out to our federal legislators to get help with this funding issue. And we have heard back from both Jimmy Panetta's office and from Zoe Lofgren's office, where they are sending this letter. Right now, this is in draft because they are getting other legislators to sign on. But I will share a copy of this with you as well, where they too are helping us to insist that these funds get released or give us good reason why they're not being released. I did want to make sure that there is clarity around it's two separate issues. The release of that $6.8 billion, that is all tied to the funding that we should have received. It was already approved in the reconciliation bill. So rightfully, that funding should have been released. Now, the programs that are on the fiscal year 26 federal proposed budget, those are proposed for elimination moving forward. And those programs, of course, we are advocating that they will not be eliminated, but it's two separate issues. And so advocacy right now is extremely important, probably more important than ever before. And then the last thing that I just wanted to bring to your attention is I did notice in the chamber lunch and learn that Navigator Charter School is, I believe, now a member of the chamber, and they did make a presentation recently in the one of those lunch and learns that they are interested in opening their charter school in Monterey County. I was not able to attend that event, but my understanding from talking with others is that they are reaching out to parents to gauge interest at this point. And if there is enough interest, then they would, I think, go to Salinas City School District probably first. And if that is not successful, then they may be coming back to this county board. So we will see if there is a level of interest or not, but just wanted to bring that to your attention. And we also have given you the packet of all of the possible opportunities for you to attend meetings or participate in the various events on the calendar. So if you are not signed up for any of these things and you'd like to be signed up, please do reach out to Cindy and she will get you registered. And that, I'm sorry, two other quick things that I wanted to mention as well. The legislation on extending the timeline for the Williams visit has moved forward. So Michelle is very, very happy because now instead of having to get to all of those schools, and as you know, the list increased 254 from how many?
21.
From 21 to 54. So having that additional time is critical because we want to do it right, just as we're supposed to, and having the time to do it really helps a lot. So that was good news. And the literacy bill also is moving forward. So as you know, initially that bill was being opposed by CABE and a couple of other groups. Speaker Rivas was very magical in his ability to get a deal between all the interested parties. And so that legislation is moving forward. It was just on the consent agenda for the Education Committee, and next steps is it will be going to appropriations. The governor did include funding for this in the state budget that was already approved. So these are all good signs that this literacy bill is going to move forward. So we're very excited about that. And that concludes my report.
Great, thank you. Thank you. We have our staff report, which is in our packet for the Early Learning Program monthly reports on page 125. Does anyone have any questions, comments? Okay, moving on. Comments by members of the board. Any comments that anyone wants to make? John?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that all the other board members are receiving notifications from the California Latino School Boards Association. They are having a event on July 30th in San Jose. Professional development and networking opportunity, as well as their annual conferences in San Diego in mid-September. So first time you heard about it. Okay, well, I will send this to you.
Could you send them my way too?
Sure.
Yeah, I got it. I got it.
Okay. So yeah, I'll send it to you right now.
Thank you.
That's what I have.
And then if you request to be on their mailing list, then you'll always get it as well.
Yeah, they do constant contact.
Okay, and then moving on for reports from board members, legislation. John,
I think Dr. Gus covered it.
that's,
you know,
was a big one. Yeah.
I've been on this board for 13, 14 years, and you know, having the federal government withhold funds that have already been approved by Congress is, you know, regardless if it's education, well, it is education, but you know, it's who knows where this is gonna go, but you know, what I've said to the people I've talked to, and basically, you know, right now, our migrant education program is done. It's over like that. And, you know, let's see if we can somehow at least get the money that's already been appropriated for it.
Okay. Community Human Services had its meeting after our last meeting. And the big news is that the executive director, Robin McCrae, who has been there for over 30 years, you may have seen it on the news, but she's retiring. So as of March of 26, although she may end up staying a bit longer if we can't find someone, but we're starting the process of looking for a new executive director. It's pretty, you know, when someone's been there for so long, it's difficult. And she's done a really good job, and the agency has grown and provides a lot of tremendous services to our community. So anyway, I think it would be great when she does retire that we do a resolution. I mean, obviously
Absolutely.
closer to her retirement, but she just has done an incredible job on that, so.
Great.
The annual luncheon is tomorrow. I think several of you are signed up to come. It'll be great to see you then. It'll be her last annual meeting, so we'll go from there. I'm sure there will be some great discussions and you can learn more about the agency then. The next one is Child Abuse Prevention Council. Heather?
Our next meeting is on August 4th, which is, I believe, a Monday. So I'll be attending that.
Okay. Monterey County School Boards Association, Mary?
There has not been a meeting yet.
Okay, no meeting. And then any consideration for future meetings? I just made one for a resolution. Anyone else? Proposed future agenda items? We already have a couple of items that will be hopefully brought to us at some point. And our next meeting date is on August 13th at 9 a.m. And I will adjourn this meeting at 11:12. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Heather.
Thank you, Heather.
Thank you, guys. See you next month.
Yep.
Yep.
Take care, Heather.
Bye.
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 Oh.